So wow, in just 3 days, we have our second DC crossover event. So first, last Friday we had the opening of Batman v Superman. Oh, and tonight we got the Flash crossing over into Supergirl. So you can check out another video that I did when Supergirl first came on air. I gave my thoughts about what I thought about the pilot episode. Yeah, I have some issues with the show as a whole. I think it's the best written, poorly characterized show on TV. I just don't like the whole Sex in the City aspect of it with Kara. I absolutely can't stand the characterization of Cat Grant. She's white power and privilege personified. No offense intended. But putting all that aside, I do watch the show. If nothing else, the show has the best special effects, in my opinion, on television. And I think this show is a game changer. The flying effects are just amazing. One of the other issues I have with this show is the same issue I have with The Flash, is that all of the characters, all of the actors and actresses, they seem like they're right out of high school. That's one of the things you have to deal with when you're dealing with CW and you're dealing with the millennial culture that we live in right now. But as a guy who has a reputation for hating everything, which is not true, I can find some entertainment value in each of these shows, no matter the problems I have with them, and they are must-see viewing for me each week. So tonight, we learned for the first time that in comparison to the Flash's character, Supergirl lives in an alternate dimension. I don't know, I had a real issue with that. But of course, we all know the alternate dimension is CBS versus Flash's CW. Those are the only dimensions that really count. I kind of like seeing the Flash in Supergirl's universe. I thought they worked well together. I thought they had great chemistry. As a matter of fact, I've always had an issue with Kara, liking Jimmy Olsen. I mean, I can say, because I'm secure in myself, that I know that the actor playing Jimmy Olsen, Mehcad Brooks, I believe his name is, he's a good-looking guy. He's built, I can see why women like him. But he's boring and dull and as interesting and charismatic as a rock. I have no understanding why Kara finds this guy attractive other than his physical aspects. But when you see Barry and Kara on screen together, they really click. It's like you almost wish those two would hook up. But much like Romeo and Juliet, CBS and CW would never allow that to happen. They would die first. Somehow Flash, I guess in a burst of speed, ends up breaking through a dimensional barrier and ending up in Supergirl's world, where they, for whatever reason, Supergirl feels the need to team up with him to defeat Livewire, who breaks free from the DEO's cage, or the jail cell. So this whole setup introduces us to a new villain, that being Silver Banshee. Now, I'm vaguely familiar with Silver Banshee. I read about her in an Action Comics that was written and drawn by John Byrne years ago. I'm talking in the mid-'80s, I want to say. From what I know of the character, she's of ancient Irish heritage. I think she's possessed by a spirit or something to that nature. I do know her name was Siobhan. That's pretty much all I know. But I also remember that her sonic scream could kill a person if she knew the person's identity and she could see them. So apparently they removed that power from her and just gave her the power of the scream, kind of like Banshee in the X-Men. The character in the book that I read, she was imposing, she was fearful. I think she was very physically impressive. So that leads me back to the problem I have with the youthification of all these characters. When you see the actress in the Silver Banshee costume, it comes off as really ridiculous. She looks very silly. I kind of laughed when I saw it. And her motivation is a little weird. She seems a little bratty. She just wants to get back at Kara for getting her fired at Catco. It seems like a very slim motivation to go out and be a murderous villain. Both Supergirl and The Flash, they have sort of corny, kind of really comic book elements. They're much more lighter in tone. But that's the thing. Comparing them with BVS, that's not a problem because I'm having fun when I'm watching them. Now, would I want to see the same tone that I see in either of these shows to the same degree? Would I want to see that in BVS? No. But the thing is, it's fun. That's what BVS was missing. It was missing all elements of fun, which is why I didn't like it as much, and which is why I would sit down and watch Supergirl or The Flash any day, Because as ridiculous as some of those stories are, and as much as I may not like how young the characters look, I can overlook that. Even me, the guy who's so full of hate for all things, I watch these shows and I have fun. And I get to see two cool superheroes fighting two supervillains. A couple other things that come to mind watching this show. What is the deal with them exposing their identities time and time again? So not only does Barry reveal his identity to the whole DEO, but Supergirl has to reveal herself to Lucy Lane. Why? Do these people have secret identities or not? Also, I'm sure the whole concept of Barry crossing dimensions with his speed was just a gimmick to get him to appear on Supergirl. But let's be honest, that does have implications for the Flash show. I mean, it does open up a whole new world for the writers to play with. I sincerely doubt they'll play with it. I think they may have their hands full enough with dealing with Earth 2. But, you know, if the Flash is that fast, you can't just put that aside for the purpose of a crossover. Also, I didn't really pick up, maybe one of you guys did, but I didn't pick up on what that weird silver thing was on his chest. Was that an experiment that Cisco was doing? If so, will we see that again? Finally, kudos to the writers for being able to seamlessly introduce Flash into Supergirl's world. I don't know if the writers for Supergirl studied the Flash or if they had some consulting done from the Flash team over at the CW, but it was extremely seamless. It felt like the characterization was spot on, and I hope Mr. Snyder is listening. It had an element of fun. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. Leave some feedback in the comments section below. And that's the Martini. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.